For the dialysis, the test for peptide bonds. The dialysate yielded a clear solution, while the broth yielded a blue solution. Test for amino acids. The dialysate is translucent, which turned to a blue shade later on. The broth has a deep and dark shade of blue. The test for chloride. Dialysate yielded a cloudy white solution, white precipitate at the bottom. The broth is yellowish in color only because of the broth. For the osmosis, hypertonic, the red blood cells shrank. Isotonic, the red blood cells remained the same. Hypotonic, the red blood cells swelled and got bigger. So the test results for the lipid solubility test, we had 4 samples: olive oil, butter, coconut oil, and lard, all of which tested the same. For distilled water and 5% HCl, all 4 samples are insoluble. For 5% NaOH, all 4 samples are slightly soluble, and in ether, all 4 samples are soluble. For the physical properties of lipids, olive oil is in a liquid state. The color is yellow and the odor is mild and fruity. The classification as lipid, unsaturated lipid. For the butter, it is in a solid state. The color is pale yellow. The odor is creamy and dairy-like, and the classification is saturated lipid. For the coconut oil, it is solid below 25 degrees Celsius and liquid above, white in solid form and clear in liquid form. The odor is mild and the classification is a saturated lipid. For lanolin, it is in a semi-solid state. The color is yellowish. The odor is mild and waxy, and the classification is wax. For the iodine test, the palm oil took 90 seconds before the iodine faded slowly, showing that it has mostly saturated fat. The olive oil took 30 seconds for the iodine to disappear, meaning that it has a lot of unsaturated fat. The butter took 120 seconds before the iodine fade, proving that it is mostly saturated fat, and the lard took the longest with 150 seconds before the iodine fades, showing that it is high in saturated fat. For Salkowski test, butter resulted in formation of a red ring with separation of yellow translucent and yellow cloudy color, which interprets to have or to contain cholesterol. Coconut oil, separate brownish color on top and clear on the bottom, contains phytosterols and tocotrienols. Olive oil resulted in a faint reddish brown tint at interface, which interpreted to have triglycerides with very little cholesterol. Margarine resulted in a reddish purple color at the junction top layers, which interprets to contain cholesterol. For the Lieberman-Burchard test, cholesterol resulted in a deep green color, which interpreted to detect cholesterol. Butter, light green with precipitate, and it has significant amount of cholesterol. Coconut oil is green in color and it contains less cholesterol. Margarine resulted in a light green color and it contains cholesterol as well. For the acrolein test, the coconut oil resulted in a black residue and is interpreted to have a breakdown of glycerol resulting to formation of acrolein. Butter also had a black residue with the presence of oil, which interpreted to as having a presence of acrolein since there are glycerol. Biuret test results. Gelatin, violet color, presence of peptide bonds. Egg albumin, violet color, presence of peptide bonds. Glycine, blue color, which indicates a single amino acid. And protein hydrolysate, light violet or gray color. It is hydrolyzed into small peptides coloring a light violet color. Ninhydrin test results. Egg albumin, semi-translucent, somewhat cloudy, no presence of amino acids. Protein hydrolysate, dark blue color, the broth is rich in free amino groups. Proline, clear white color, translucent, no amino acid and protein. Alanine, dark and deep blue-violet color, there is amino acids and protein present. Hopkins-Cole test. Albumin, there's a hint of a purple hue, though not as evident. Tryptophan is present. Casein, there is formation of two layers, cloudy on top, clear and translucent at the bottom. Tryptophan is also present. Gelatin, the solution remained clear, no visible violet ring was formed. Gelatin lacks tryptophan. Tryptophan, the overall solvent is clear, however, an unformed violet ring can be seen. Tryptophan is present. Protein hydrolysate, a purple ring formed at the bottom, the top is cloudy, no tryptophan is present. For SH test, albumin reacted first under 1 minute, grayish color. The sample has many SH groups. SH groups which reacts quickly with lead acetate, forming a gray color. Tyrosine, no reaction. The sample has no SH group, which is why there is no reaction. Casein, faint gray color. The sample has fewer SH groups, making the red appear slower and weaker. Protein hydrolysate, white precipitate. It should form a black precipitate, but since only a white precipitate was formed, it lacks free sulfryl hydryl groups.